The important point is that, none of this is speculative on our part. We have emails from the SBA, we have emails from Parish, some of which Parish called Frank an idiot, did not get. He didn't refer to it. He's obviously not an idiot. But we do want to, the main point here, I think, is that if these numbers made that much difference, that they justified half-page ads, mailings to 80,000 businesses, website, etc., then they still make that much difference today. And the numbers need to be honestly retracted, corrected. The mistakes need to be admitted by the SBA. It's not good enough just to say, folks, really the numbers don't make that much difference. We love the port anyway. That's not good enough. If the numbers meant something 5 years ago, then they mean something today, and they need to be addressed directly. We need a new study, and that study cannot be a replication of one that has a murky set of questions, a murky propositions, assumptions, and data that is not available for review. And before that happens, we shouldn't be moving ahead with any further public expenditures on this facility.
You said that the way that they asked that question to come up with those numbers is part of the problem here, but are those numbers in fact wrong? I mean, is there a new study that says that, or I know that's what you're asking for, but how do you know those numbers aren't correct?
Well, the main point, the burden is on the agency to come up with credible numbers that are replicatable. Any credible study, peer-reviewed study, needs to have the data available for replication. That's just a basic premise of any economic study. The burden is on them to do it. Now, as to whether the numbers are correct, I mean, what do you think? The number says if we close the port down, if we closed it down 5 years ago, this terminal ceases to exist. Union Pier, Wando, North Charleston cease to exist. The impact in 2035 will be that we will lose 280,000 jobs in the state. And the answer, I would say, to your question is, who has a clue? The other, I'll tell you this is a good point. Nancy, in your package, the State Legislative Audit Council did a review of the SBA in '02. And the number they came up with of jobs attributable to the port, direct jobs, was 5,326, not 280,000. The Mercer report, which was the reason the LAC reviewed the SBA, because there were questions again about data not being available, economists having gone, nobody could confirm, came up with 83,000 jobs. So we have 3 estimates that have been done for jobs associated with the port. One 5,000, one 83,000, and one 280,000. It seems to me that really begs the question and demand for a new study, because this is not just some academic exercise. It matters to people who pay taxes in the state, who drive on I-26, and who use the waters out here for fishing and shrimping, because that's the impact.
Hypothetically, let's say the independent study comes back and finds this port expansion is critical. What will the Coastal Conservation League stance be at that point?
Well, let me first tell you the way the study would have to be done. First, it would be what are the range of options to meet the shipping needs of this state. One option is Jasper County, and Jasper County needs to be evaluated in contrast to this new terminal. There are a number of advantages, as y'all may know, to the Jasper County option. One is it costs the taxpayers $0 to build the terminal. It's a private company. SSA has proposed to build it entirely out of their own funds, private funding. The second thing is that the road needs are minimal compared to the road needs here. $10 million is what we've heard. There is a rail line. There are no conflicting uses nearby, and Jasper County is a very poor county that needs jobs. So and I'm not trying to avoid your question, I just wanted to lay the groundwork for it. So if the study came out that was done, and apparently USC and Doug Woodward is going to do such a study now, as of August, because Frank called him on it, and it looked at Jasper as an alternative, and it looked at this terminal as an alternative, and for whatever reason concluded objectively that this terminal made sense, then we would support it. But we would support it under the provision that it not bring I-26 to a level of service F, that they use rail. Every other new terminal in the world that is being built with rail to move most of the cargo. There will be not a single box moved by rail at this terminal. Everyone will go on a truck, and as y'all know, I'm sure, that will generate 7,000 truck trips a day, SPA's own studies, one every 5 seconds on the section of I-26 between Rosemont and the Mark Clark, which will mean that that section, which is currently operating at a functional level of service, D between D and E, will fail because of the terminal. So, long answer, but it's an important question. If the study, an objective study, concluded Jasper wasn't viable for some reason, if they had to build this terminal, if they can move the cargo without essentially destroying mobility on I-26, then we'd support it. But there's a long way to go to get to that point. And we've said that to them. I mean, we basically made that proposal to them, and they have rejected it. That we do the study, that we look at a transportation study, that we redo the economic study, which now they're doing. But I will promise you this, if Al Parish had not been indicted for fraud, there would be no reconsideration of this study, even though it has nothing to do with the fraud. It is purely a political move on the part of the SBA. It was the headliner of a political campaign for the port. When we worked on the Global Gateway, and we've worked on this, and we had the Department of Secretary of Commerce campaigning around the state, talking to state chambers of commerce, and the opening point at every one of those meetings was 280,000 jobs.
Now, if an independent study is already underway, which I've been told at USC, why are we here? 2
points. One is we have none of y'all, I suspect, we have not been apprised of what the question that's going to be asked by Doug Woodward, who is, by the way, a good guy and a good economist. We don't know what the parameter of the study is, so that we need to know that. The SBA has not approached us on that, and again, I suspect no one else knows that, including the local Chamber of Commerce. The second point is that they continue to spend money as if the study was going to defend and justify the project, and that's simply not acceptable. If they're doing the study, they need to take it seriously, right? They need to pull back, they need to withdraw the applications or put them on hold, and we need to take the study as seriously as they would assert that as they asserted this study was.